This year's World Series of Bowling is more than halfway done, but through 5 events, not a single American has won a title. Today, Sean Rash and Chris Barnes are out to put an end to that streak, each hoping to survive in a contest that includes the Australian two-hander Jason Belmonte, who captured February's Chameleon Open, and last season's Player of the Year, Mika Koivuniemi. The Big Fin kicked off the World Series with a win in the World Bowling Tour Championship. Will international bowling dominance continue here in Las Vegas? Find out as the World Series of Bowling rolls on with the GEICO Shark Open. After last week's U.S. Open, the PBA Tour has returned to Las Vegas for more World Series of Bowling action. Today, the South Point Hotel and Convention Center hosts the GEICO Shark Open. And here is your loaded 4-man field. Your number 4 seed and reigning PBA Player of the Year, Mika Koivuniemi.
The reigning Player of the Year brings a perfect blend of fearlessness and confidence to every telecast. Beware of the major.
He is no stranger to TV this season. Your 3 seed, Sean Rash.
Top gun, young gun, call him what you will. The question is, can Rash bring the big guns today and win?
He won 3 weeks ago at the Chameleon Open, your 2 seed. Smile for us, Jason Belmonte.
He's won an ESPY, he's won multiple titles, and he's proving not only that he's the best two-handed player out here, but one of the best players, period.
And your number 1 seed from Double Oak, Texas, Hall of Famer to be, Chris Barnes.
One of the greatest in the game, the ultimate strategist, and a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame.
Loaded field, Randy, for another Eliminator format. All 4 bowlers hitting the hardwood in match number 1, low score out. A repeat in match number 2 until only 2 remain. Mika Koivuniemi will start us off. Go back to early December. Mika won the opening event of the season, the World Bowling Tour Finals presented by the PBA. Leaves the 2-6 on the left lane. Jason Belmonte and his two-handed style step up on the right. This is the 3rd animal oil pattern show that he has made this season. And Belmo starts off there with a strike. As we mentioned, a very successful World Series of Bowling so far for Jason. Back in early January, he would roll a perfect 300 game during the Albee division of the 2 weeks ago. He conquered the Chameleon Open, an absolute beatdown there as Belmo took down Sean Rash 268 to 191. And then last week, a 3rd place finish in the U.S. Open. Jason, the 3rd seed, beaten by Pete Weber 225-213 in the 2nd match of the stepladder finals. Weber would then advance to face Belmo's good friend and the number 1 overall seed, Mike Fagan. It all came down to the last shot. Weber had to strike on this final ball of the match to win a record 5th Open.
That is right, I did it! That's number 5! Are you kidding me? That's right! Who do you think you are? I am!
Congrats again to PDW. Up next, the reigning Player of the Year and the runner-up in last year's Open, Mika Koivuniemi.
And you look at the 4 players on today's telecast, Mika really doesn't fit in. I mean, all the other 3 players, lots of power. Sean Rash, Chris Barnes, Jason Belmonte. Mika's a straight down and in player, but you know what? He does surprisingly well on this shark oil pattern, which just happens to be the longest of the animal patterns.
Sean Rash with an opening strike. And Chris Barnes dropped a 299 in game 1 of qualifying. Leaves the 10 pin.
Exactly.
Bowling on the shark oil pattern, 43 feet long, the longest of the animal patterns.
No big surprise that Chris Barnes had success on this oil pattern. Real heavy up the back end over end roller and a lot of revs.
Barnes with the spare. Close out the first. Mika on the right lane went from 13th to 4th in the round of 16. Back-to-back spares for Major Mika. And a quick little comment there to Chris Barnes on his way back to the seat. Those two very good friends, and Barnes has nothing but respect for his buddy, the Big Finn.
Mika Koivuniemi. Great shot maker. Very focused, very disciplined, and a great friend, and my roommate. And the last word would be godparent. We're the godparents to his youngest daughter.
Two guys that enjoy competing against one another very much. Here's Belmo in the second.
Could have bet $1 million on that one.
Probably got it in just a bit. Anytime you get the ball a little left and there is oil, the ball will skid just a little bit farther down the lane, and then when it does break loose, it's coming in at the wrong angle. The result's usually a ringing 10.
Right through the nose.
3-6-10.
Good grief.
Strike spare for Belmo to start. Three, 6, 10, and they all drop.
Third time this week I made that one.
Rash on the left.
It's easy there. Don't need to be seeing any pocket 7-10s.
Double shot of Messengers, took down the 10. Here he goes after the 7 and drops that into the pit. There's where we stand. Early stages through 2 frames. The low man will not advance to match number 2.
Remember, it's the low score that is eliminated after each game. You have to be the high scorer. You just don't want to be the low one. You know, when the front part of the lane breaks down, Mika goes with the air ball. He starts to loft.
I was going to say, it looked like he was going to the loft, I think on the first frame, if I wasn't mistaken, and it seems to be extending.
And I'll tell you, nobody blows an oil pattern apart more than Sean Rash and Jason Belmonte.
Open frame
That was all the line, that one.
for Jason. Barnes steps up. 9 spare, 7 spare.
By the rules, they can do that, and Of course, they can create more power than anybody else, and if they are given a little bit more room, they are tough to beat because they will strike more than most of us.
Mika spare strike. Here he is in the fourth.
Right lane starting to go early. You saw Belmonte go through the nose. Now Mika, an incredibly tough spare. Mika's got to get the ball into this area here and have enough bowling ball and power to drive that back pin out, the 9-pin. Not textbook, but effective.
Survive. That is the call here.
Nice spare.
Yeah, it's all about that. I mean, this is not the way you would draw it up, but on this shark oil pattern, if you get the ball going a little bit too far to the right, there's a big ledge of oil there. It'll fall right off.
Rash.
Well, when you're a player on the tour and your ball hits like that, you would say that my bowling ball is going to come back with dental floss on it. Plaque.
Barnes in the fourth gets another strike. There's Team Barnes, his wife Linda with a bad wing. Rash takes care of the 10-pin. We're done with 4. Only 3 will move on here at the GEICO Shark Open, and Jason Belmonte in the basement for now. Welcome you back to Las Vegas in the World Series of Bowling. Before we return to our coverage of the final of the GEICO Shark Open, let's take a look at some highlights from qualifying. Chris Barnes, who shot a .299 in the first round of qualifying, came back here in the round of 16, .290 in the second, .268 in the third, and another .268 in the sixth and final game. That helped him jump from third to the #1 spot over Jason Belmonte and Sean Rash. As for the fourth and final spot in today's show, that came down to Mika Koivuniemi and Jack Jurek. Mika shooting a .280 in his final game of match play, which meant Jack Jurek had to strike here in the 10th frame to make the show. Jack leaves the 10-pin, fails to make the show today by just a single pin. And there are the final standings and the total pinfall from qualifying. Chris Barnes just so solid, averaging better than a .235 for the 14 games. And we now start the fifth with our #4 seed, Mika Koivuniemi. Right of target.
Errant shot. Boy, this is just a big whiff for Mika. A lot of velocity, no hand, and then it just goes right through the back of the pin deck.
Belmo stepping up on the right side, working off a strike.
10-pin. Great shot.
Mika's going to try to get the ball over into this area here and drive the head pin over into the 10. The ball will take out the 2 and the 4.
He hasn't followed your guidance yet today.
It's not. Well, he's listening now. A little too heavy on the head pin.
So an open frame from Major Mika. And a major opening for the rest of the field. Belmo, 10-pin.
Belmo now only 2 back of Mika.
And there you see the list of champions so far at the World Series of Bowling. Both Mika Koivuniemi and Jason Belmonte. Among those getting the job done, the big story here so far, not one American has captured a World Series trophy here in Las Vegas this season.
Barnes looking for the first three-bagger of the match. High fives with the boys and the wife. Linda, Ryan, and Troy here to watch Dad and hubby. You see Linda, very accomplished bowler in her own right, had labrum surgery on her shoulder a couple months ago. 4-pin left standing by Rash.
She told us earlier that she hurt her shoulder taking a swing at Chris. And now you're saying she had shoulder surgery.
Both stories may be correct. You're stirring the pot there. Don't go there, my friend.
She actually said that.
She's a good one. Belmo on the left. Gets them all to drop in the 6th. His third strike of this match. Rash. Boy, every time he throws those single pin spares, I just see an angry man with the velocity of that ball.
Mika hasn't gotten more than 6 on his first shot in the last 2 frames.
Had an open frame on his last effort. Last strike was his only one. Came in the 3rd.
Much better. Only to leave a ringing 10. Profile of Mika Koivuniemi, big tall man. Perfect body position at the foul line. Not a good result, not what he was looking for.
Rash on the left gets them all to drop.
Sean Rash pulling a nice steady Eddie 199 game.
Major Mika, the big 6'4", 185 product via Finland, who now resides in Heartland, Michigan with the spare.
One of the things I think that most people don't know about Mika is he is probably one of the funniest guys on tour. Just the driest sense of humor and just, I mean, an absolute riot.
I'm sure he's funny if you can fight through the accent.
He is so incredibly funny and witty.
His wife and oldest daughter here, as his good friend Chris Barnes steps up, fires in the 6th, and another strike for Barney.
Barnesy looking pretty solid here in the opening match.
Remember, little ham bone there for Barney as well.
Remember, it's low score out right now. That is Jason Belmonte by 2 behind Mika. Barnesy's bowling a very tidy 220 game. Sean Rash, high 190s.
Last 3 frames for Mika, spare, open, spare.
There's a strike for Mika. He's still neck and neck with Belmo, who, by the way, says he idolizes the big Finn.
Mika Koivuniemi is probably the most powerfully mental gamed person out here. He's no matter what he's bowling, he's given it 100%, and he's constantly working out how to beat the lanes. And you watch him, and it's like he's mentally knocking the pins over. I mean, he's so strong, and here's something that I idolize about him, is being able to be as good as him when it matters most.
Well, if Jason doesn't watch out, his idol may just send him packing. That puts Mika 2 pins ahead, assuming Belmo gets the spare.
Barnes on the left lane. Looking for 5 in a row here in the 7th.
Push. That's good.
Yeah, the last thing Chris would want to see with that is a 9-pin. That ball drifts just a shade high. It's all about filling frames now. He's got a nice, comfortable lead.
There's Belmo trying to fill a frame. And he will in the 7th. Jason and his wife, Kimberly.
It would have struck if I slowed down.
About a month and change away from welcoming their 2nd child. Barnes, spare in the 7th. It's been a wonderfully successful World Series of Bowling for Sean Rash, but Randy, at the same time, an immensely disappointing.
Not enough W's.
Not even close. So many runners-up finishes.
Not again.
2-8-10 split.
Just a little too much pace. It blows right through the end of the spot, off the end of the pattern, and it's 2-8-10.
All right. Love it.
He just backed up now to Belmo and Mika. 3 players in the 180s, and then there's Chris Barnes.
Barnes sitting very comfortably in that catbird seat. Belmo to open us up in the 8th. Working off a spare. Leaves the 10.
Jeez Louise.
Hard to believe that Belmonte would be leading the bottom of the list. I think with all that power, he does really well on the longer oil patterns. But right now, he finds himself 2 pins behind Mika.
Things awfully congested there at the 2, 3, 4 spot, and whew, a late lean and drop from Mika will make this effort much more manageable.
That was almost disastrous.
Belmo on the left lane, trying to finish up another 9 spare. It's 4-7 in the sights for Mika on the right lane. Sean Rash in the 8th had that open frame in the 7th. Let's see how he can respond. It has been a long, grinding World Series of bowling.
Nice shot there. And nice recovery after the 2-8-10 on the right lane.
Well, we asked Sean's wife, Sarah, who's also a bowler, if she's ever offered any tips to her hubby or his coach, Chuck Gardner.
To me, he's incredible, and sometimes I think some of the shots he makes is flawless, but Chuck sees his elbow get out a little bit, and some of that stuff I don't see. I'm an amateur bowler at best. So.
Sarah, Gene, Rash.
They've been staples here in Vegas, the World Series of bowling.
You know, the folks at home are starting to know them as much as Sean.
I think we've seen the entire wardrobe from Sarah here over the course of the World Series of bowling. Cleaned out her closet.
Gene's going to start signing autographs as he goes through the airport.
Too nice to that one.
Aren't you Sean Rash's dad?
Oh, that's wonderful. It's great to have that family support. They're sitting just about 2 feet away from the Barnes family. Mika Koivuniemi's clan in attendance as well. Jason Belmonte all alone, though, as his wife back home in Australia, getting set to give birth to their 2nd child. Mika. Big strike by Mika.
A quick question to Chris Barnes.
Chris, what's the secret to advancing here early on in the Eliminator format?
Well, it seems to be just, you know, really hitting the pocket enough to not leave some splits. Everybody's had an early split or something that they couldn't make, and they're a little tight, obviously, down lane. This shark pattern's awfully long. So I've been able to put together a couple of strikes, got that one bonus one turned into a 4-bagger, but for the rest of the guys, it seems to be staying out of trouble is half the battle. For Belmo, it's just knocking the 10-pin over.
Well, we appreciate Chris being wired up today, conversing with us. Walks away from the 10-pin, drops that one into the pit. So Barnes remains clean. Jason Belmonte stepping up and trailing. You need to get into the top 3. Belmo 3 pins behind Mika as we begin the 9th. Well, Mika already had a strike in the 9th, and there's Belmo's response.
That was a really nice shot. Fun to watch that one. That ball there would have knocked down 30 pins. Had so much stuff on it.
Strike number 5. And it goes back to the family. Exchanging some skin. Now, what a thrill for those youngsters to be there and see Dad able to perform. Sean Rash. Yeah, big strike from Rash.
Chris Barnes, by the way, safe and moving on. Sean Rash just made himself one step closer to doing the same. Best Belmonte can shoot 201. Mika 204. Rash 217. And Barnes is already in the 220s.
Everybody struck in the 9th. We move to the 10th. Belmo trying to gain ground. Having difficulty getting that opening and leapfrogging Koivuniemi. It's a good start.
Hey, Mr. Big Shot. Mika's got to match whatever Belmonte does. If Mika does not strike on this ball, Belmonte goes around him. That may just seal the deal for Mika. May just seal his fate. Right through the nose. If he converts and strikes, he shoots 184. 90s. Rash in the 190s. It's all but over for Mika Koivuniemi.
That's a big if he converts that. Belmo. Played that one a little safe.
Just looking for count. He's safe and moving on.
Kicks it. Not enough. Mika's done. The look says it all. Chris Barnes, dominant in match number 1. Sean Rash, Jason Belmonte will join him next for match number 2. Welcome back to Las Vegas and the PBA on ESPN, the World Series of Bowling, continuing with the GEICO Shark Open. Match 1 in the books, and one man has been eliminated. The reigning player of the year, the Big Fin, Mika Koivuniemi, his 172, not enough. He is gone. Rob Stone, Hall of Famer Randy Peterson back here with you. The man of the match, at least match number 1, was Chris Barnes, a dominating 234. We've seen this from Chris before, though. Some great early starts. He looks like he's in control, very comfortable, but those lanes have a way of tweaking things, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Chris, I think, did a really good job last season of managing his game and really taking advantage of certain situations. But this tournament here, the next couple of matches are going to be predicated on how long the oil pattern lasts, how long it holds up, especially in the front part of the lane. Because once the front part of the lane goes, Chris Barnes, being a heavy rolling guy, he's going to have trouble getting the ball down the lane. We know what Belmo can do, lofting it over the gutter cap. Rash is really good at that too. If the oil pattern holds up long enough and we only need 2 more games, Chris Barnes has a great shot at winning this.
Jason Belmonte's 190 in the last match, just enough to propel him here to match number 2, and he'll start us off. Good start.
Not surprised. The more angle that Jason Belmonte can create by moving left, the better and better his reaction is going to get, and the higher his score is going to get.
6 strikes, 1 ham bone for Barnes in match number 1. And he matches Belmo's strike with one of his own. My dad is rad. I tell you what, if my kids made me a sign, it would not be pretty. Rash trying to walk away from that one.
Your kids made you a sign, it would say, "My dad is mad."
Yeah, that's about right. Come home, Dad. Come home. Where are you? Yeah. I'm not sure I have a dad. Here is Jason Belmonte on the left lane. Right, a target, a nice late kick on the 10 to leave just some double wood.
Rob, I suspect, though, eventually it'll get back from that spot.
Rash! Woo-hoo! Kick the field goal, nip both uprights.
A little harder than 3, 6, 9, 10.
Takes the axe to both of them.
Not the easiest of spares, the 2-8, but Belmo made it look pretty easy. Barnes, just such a great strategist. He always has a game plan going in. Doesn't mean it's always right, but this guy's rarely fooled by anything.
Chris used to view himself as a bit of a power player, but he's had to evolve to compete.
As I've gotten older, the bar just keeps getting higher and higher. The guys throw it harder, they get more revs on it, and so now I've had to become more of a intellectual player. And so moving around the lanes, seeing a ball reaction and then reacting to it in the correct way and doing it immediately rather than being wrong once or twice or 5 frames and giving a 5 frames or a game away. That's been the key to my success over the last 5 or 6 years.
I think he's really enjoying having his family sitting this close, having his boys in attendance as well. Always helps when you're doing well. Rash gets himself a little break as well.
I also think he really enjoys this format.
True.
This isn't a one and done, a one game and out head-to-head match. This gives you a chance to get your feet underneath you, get a couple games on television before that title match.
Get back to that thought in just a second. Here's Belmo on the right as Barnes takes a look. Ten will not drop. Talk about Barnes. I mean, we've seen him through the years on TV show after TV show. Here's Sean Rash. Gets himself a spare, and his competitors will say, I'll take on Barnes in a 1-match deal. I'd rather not, but I'll do it. But if it's a 5-match deal or a longer type format, it's usually that guy's to lose.
Yeah, over a long period of games. You take a U.S. Open format, for example, you throw 50-plus games at you. My money's on Chris Barnes to be there or be close to the top.
The white.
3 in a row to open up match 2. Rash has struggled here. 8 spare, 9 spare in the third.
Well, I've seen that one before.
2-7 split.
Sorry.
2-7, the second time he's seen it this match, both on this right lane.
%100% on that split.
Good spare.
Chris Barnes, perfect through 3. An early advantage. Top 2 move on to the championship match of the GEICO Shark Open. brought to you by Rob Stone and Randy Peterson. Welcome you back to the World Series of Bowling, the GEICO Shark Open. We're in the midst of match 2 through 3 frames. Chris Barnes on top, Belmo in second, Sean Rash just barely on the outside looking in. Here is Jason Belmonte. Strike, spare, spare. We begin the 4th. 3 weeks ago, he won the Chameleon Open. Trying to take down the Shark here today. Woo! A lot of shrapnel flying by the 9.
Chris Barnes, why does it appear that your ball reaction looks so much better than Jason Belmonte and Sean Rash's?
You know, I don't know that it's all that much better, but it is staying in contact with the lane a little bit. This long pattern, my speed's a little bit softer, and it's probably making it a little bit easier on me. But you know, I've had to move 5 left too. You might have noticed these guys have a slightly higher rev rate than I do, and so I've had to move in an arrow as well. And I'm sure they'd like that. It brings carry to their advantage.
Barnes gets set here for his effort in the 4th.
Yeah, it's funny. Chris Barnes is not exactly straight in terms of amount of curve, but compared to Jason Belmonte and Sean Rash, don't get me wrong, Chris has got plenty of power, and it was evident when you just saw the 6 just kick the living you-know-what out of the 10-pin there on that last shot.
Well, Barnes may not have as much power as a guy like Rash, but he does have more experience, and he shared much of what he's learned with his fellow Wichita State Shocker.
I've had a lot of great mentors in the past. Chris Barnes and I, you know, having the Wichita State alumni there, he's helped me quite a bit when I first got on tour. But Chris has got one of the best work ethics there is. And Chris has had his ups and his downs on tour, you know, probably more ups than downs. But he's given himself a chance to win, and that's all you can ask for at the end of the day.
Strike number 1. Finally a strike in match 2 for Rash. Looking to the heavens for some support. 1 pin separating the 2 rivals, Belmo and Rash. And again, Chris Barnes leaping out to an early lead. Loose swing, comfortable. Belmo wide of target.
Could have been a lot worse.
All right, watch this now. See how it's just wide of target, and it hits that ledge of oil. Was dumped onto the lane by the oiling machine. Anything right of about the 7 or 8 board, and it hits that cliff, and I was lucky to get 8.
Great pocket presence. More high fives with his son Ryan. Ryan's into it today, man. He's dialed in. Jason for the spare, got it. Rash looking for a double.
Oh, my God.
Didn't like it. He's got himself a split.
Missed it at the bottom, missed right. No chance. 210. This is the third split that he's had in 5 frames.
Oh, yeah. Down went the 210.
Hell of a lot better in the first one.
Belmo hasn't struck since the first. And that's your fast, safe pain relief replay brought to you by the makers of Bayer Advanced Aspirin.
Textbook. Question is, what's Sean going to do to throw more strikes now? We know he can leave splits and convert them, but to advance to the title match, he's going to need to start throwing strikes.
Ho-hum, another strike for Chris Barnes.
Barnes is making it look easy.
Sure is.
234 in game one. He's got the front six this game. He's making it look stupid easy.
Strike number 2 for Sean Rash.
You know, sometimes it's not always about how much you can hook it. Chris Barnes just rolling it nice and clean off his hand and absolutely running these guys over thus far.
Rash now 1 pin better than Belmo through 6. Jason leaves the 10. It's essentially a Belmo-Rash battle right now. Mathematically, Barnes has not locked it up, obviously, but he's in the right lane. And passing everybody here. He's in great control of his game. An effort here in the 7th from the left lane, and another strike. Wow, that was an angry slap there from Ryan.
Right now, it's kind of like watching Chris Barnes trying to jump over Belmonte and Rash in a steamroller.
Top 2 will move on to the title match here. The GEICO Shark Open. Belmo and Rash awfully tight. And another split.
Yeah, back-to-back 210s on that right lane.
Kidding me?
See if he can convert again. This would be the 4th split in this game. Get a little softer, soften your hand up, start to get the ball to check a little sooner so it stops going 60 feet before it hooks.
Open frame. First open frame in match number 2. And Jason takes advantage. Somebody's nice enough to open up the door for you. The least you can do is walk in.
And he did it nicely.
That's 8.
By the way, this guy named Chris Barnes is going to bowl for the title.
Well, he's bowling for history right now. Rash in the 8th. How about that? Kids maybe pulling a little prophesizing there. Highest score, yes indeed, it is a 300. And Dad on pace.
Could they possibly know something we don't?
I don't see how it's possible, Randy, but here's Belmo. He and Rash awfully tight. They both had strikes in the 8th and another one here in the 9th for Jason.
Absolutely great shot. Magnificent from Jason Belmonte. Again, taking advantage of the open frame in the 7th by Sean Rash. Steps up and just throws a beautiful double. 8th and 9th frame.
9 in a row.
Oh, are you going to mention it?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay. I won't say anything either.
Now we have 2 storylines going right here. Chris Barnes, perfect through 9 frames. Jason Belmonte holding on to a 21-pin advantage over Sean Rash to move to the championship game.
210, 210, check.
Belmo about to move on. He looks tired, this Sean.
Yeah, he looks mentally beat.
He's had to do a lot of bowling this season. So a spare there for Sean in the 9th. Belmo looking for a 3-bagger as we open up the 10th.
Wow.
It's going to take the drama out of the fight for second. And now center stage rightfully gets handed over to Chris Barnes.
Belmo Barnes title match, but right now all eyes are on the man in the blue shirt.
Remember, he had a 299 in game 1 of qualifying here at the Shark.
It's gonna go.
Drops the Bo Derek, the perfect 10.
Are you gonna say it now?
Doing the right thing?
2 strikes away from a 300 game. Belmo quickly stepped up and fired.
Let me just finish this off.
Everybody just trying to get out of the way and let Chris Barnes have a crack at history. Jason's just stepping, firing, and walking away.
Hi, buddy. 2 of your best.
$10,000 bonus for a perfect game. Looks real confident and real comfortable.
One away. 1 strike away from perfection.
Don't give any chances like this. Let's enjoy this one.
One shot away from history and a 300 game. Yes! Somebody just cashed in Vegas.
Here we go. Congratulations, man. That's bloody awesome. That's what I'm talking about. Congratulations. Way to go. Way to go.
Another look at that last effort. Number 12 goes down in the pit. Wife Linda, boys Ryan and Troy, there to see their dad and husband make history. Ah, beautiful. The check presentation for Chris Barnes, $10,000 richer. Jeff Reese, the CEO of the PBA, and the Barnes boys, there to celebrate. Here's Barnes in the 10th. 1, 2, shot. And Randy with Chris.
That was spectacular. What did that feel like?
Man, you don't get many chances at that, and I'm just telling myself to just enjoy it. There's times in my life and in my career where I didn't enjoy that moment very much, and I didn't embrace and didn't perform very well, but that was one of the better ones right there.
The kids knew something, huh? With the sign?
Check out that sign. Evidently, they've been writing 187 at other times. I'm not sure, but they called their shot beforehand. It's I need to keep them around. They're my good luck charms.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Team Barnes not done yet. They're looking for another reason to celebrate. As Chris will take on Jason Belmonte when our coverage of the World Series of Bowling returns to Las Vegas. The title match of the GEICO PBA Shark Open, Chris Barnes versus Belmo. And the World Series of Bowling, Sean Rash's 182 sends him packing, and so it'll be a final featuring our two World Series 300 men, Chris Barnes and Jason Belmonte. In January, Belmo became the 21st man in history to shoot a 300 on television. And then moments ago, Barnes duplicated the feat, and now those two set to square off for a title. But before we get started, Randy, with our keys to victory, brought to you by the makers of Alka-Seltzer Plus Liquid Gels.
Well, Chris Barnes has to hope for not having a monumental letdown after such a huge high. And Jason Belmonte, he needs to figure out a way to strike more, because it's obvious Chris Barnes is going to bowl a big game. First game was in the 230s, last game perfection. Belmo better figure something out and start striking.
215 for Jason last game, a 25-pin improvement from match one.
Oi.
That was a pretty good oi.
Wasn't so good.
So Barnes looking for 13 strikes in a row, and the first here in the title match. Hasn't lost it.
His ball reaction is so super clean. I mean, it looks like it feeds through the front part of the lane easily. It gets to the middle part of the lane, starts to true up, and then it's just a nice soft arc in the back part of the lane. Nothing crazy. You don't see one ball skidding out to the right and another ball snapping and going dead left. He's got the right recipe, this guy. He knows what he's doing.
This all looks very familiar, Randy. Where have we seen this before?
You know the one thing we haven't seen on television?
Back-to-back 300 games?
Exactly.
Oh, you're just flat out greedy right now.
Yeah, and?
And I'll take it. Belmo's got a shot at one too. Clean through one. There's Jason in the second. Yeah. Belmo matching Barnes strike for strike here in the title match. And here is Jason on his fellow 300 Club member.
Chris Barnes is one of the most knowledgeable players out here. You ask him what his equipment does, and he'll tell you to the T what each of his bowling balls does. And, you know, knowledge is power out here, and that's why Chris is one of the best in the world. He not only can repeat his shots, but he knows with which ball to use. And when you know that and you put his ability and talent with his knowledge together, you know, that's why he's arguably the greatest bowler in the world.
Three for three is Jason Belmonte.
Taking advantage of that, Brooklyn. Will Chris Barnes not strike?
Chris Barnes, one of 6 to have claimed the Triple Crown in the PBA.
Yeah, prestigious award was Hardwick Petraglia Albee forever.
Come on, yeah!
Trip 4-9, baby!
When it's working, it's working! Somebody, quick, take him down to the casino floor, now!
He's got some serious mojo going. And if you don't believe me, watch this. Trip the 4 into the 9.
That's audacious. 15 straight strikes.
Make a good one here. Kick it.
Good.
How dare you 10-pin? Who do you think you are? What a run.
Yeah, good stuff there. By one of the best that's ever thrown a bowling ball down the lane. Good stuff. This is a good shot as well.
Shouldn't have moved.
You hear what he said? He said he shouldn't have moved. He's anticipating breakdown, moving before he goes through the nose. Push. He hasn't shot at too many of those. It's been almost a game and a half since he had a spare attempt. Give the guy a break.
You hear what he said when he went to the seat? I'm rusty. Things you can get away when you've just rolled a 300 game. Jason Belmonte in the 4th. Up 1.
There's a 4-bagger.
A what?
4-bagger.
What?
4-bagger.
Ham bone.
Jason Belmonte makes a big adjustment from the last game to this game, goes to a super strong bowling ball, jumps way in, and now he's perfect through 4.
Yeah, he only had 5 strikes in his last match, 1 triple, and here he is dropping in the opening 4.
I mean, he barely got by the first game, the first match.
A 190. And that first match for Belmonte, just enough to claw his way into match 2. Match 2, he sat and watched Chris Barnes drop a 300, and now it's Jason's turn. Flawless through 5.
Live coverage of the PBA Detroit Open presented by Track begins this Saturday, and the only place to see it is through the PBA's online video subscription service, Extra Frame. Live coverage includes every round as well as Sunday's stepladder finals where a PBA champion will be crowned. Monthly and yearly subscriptions are available only at PBA.com.
Four-pin. Leaves the 4-pin here in the title match.
Now the question is, how much of a beating is the oil pattern taking now that Belmonte has jumped inside with a much more aggressive bowling ball? A little better.
Not to jinx Chris, but his record on television has not been stellar lately. His most recent letdown, last month's Alka-Seltzer Liquid Gels USBC Masters, where Chris was the #1 seed, and he started strong against Mike Fagan. This split in the 8th of the title match cost him dearly. Fagan would put together a 7-bagger to capture the first major of his career.
You know, my TV record hasn't been fantastic. I've been pretty good over these long formats. In the one-game match on TV, it hasn't gone as well. But those kind of things motivate me, I guess. You know, I don't like feeling like that, and so I do what I can to change and try and keep getting better at it. And so ultimately, that's what's going to have to happen here.
Barnes down 22 and staring down the barrel of a Jason Belmonte 5-bagger here in the 6th.
Messenger! Not enough on its tail to drop the 10-pin.
Almost got one of his strikes. I don't get him over there very often.
Comes the head pin, but it's in front of the 10. Leans on it a bit. Right now, Chris Barnes having to micromanage and figure out a way to increase his pin carry back to where it was a game ago.
It remains clean, but after that opening three-bagger, it's been 9 spare, 9 spare, 9 spare for Barnes. 23-pin advantage for Jason Belmonte as he steps up for his effort in the 6th.
Less than 50% on striking in the first and second match. Now he's perfect through 5. Ooh, nasty. That just went in there and just thumped about 10 of those little white sticks. Watch this. No thumb in it, 2 hands. Let's create a bunch of revolutions at about 15 pounds of mass, rotating at about 650 RPMs. And not much chance for the 10 pins. Nothing left on the deck.
So an opening 6-pack for Jason Belmonte. The lead extends to 33. 7 in a row. And Belmo, is he teasing us here? Does he have another perfect game in him? 43-pin advantage in the title match here at the GEICO PBA Shark Open. Left the 4-pin in the 5th here on this lane.
No.
And now has a 7-10. Cruel and unusual punishment.
Right hand position, I guess.
Hey, Chris, nice 300 game. Now let me kick you in the face.
Outright.
Boy, it just does. What a cruel sport at times. This guy hasn't missed the pocket in 19 shots. And now he leaves the pocket 7-10. His angle's changed just enough to affect pin carry. Belmonte's angle's gotten that much better.
Well, the theme of this match has turned squarely into the face of the man on the left. Jason Belmonte, the man in black from Australia. Perfect
Show up.
through 7. As Barnes steps up after that open frame to begin the 8th.
No, that didn't work either. Wow. Smallest things.
When Belmonte moved in, the stronger ball completely caved in Chris Barnes' ball reaction. He had to move in, tweak it just enough. It affected his pin carry. Now he's lost pocket. Belmonte, on the other hand, is perfect through 7.
And another open frame.
When it rains, it pours.
And it was pouring in match number 2. Pouring strikes.
You want to talk about a 180-degree turnaround. As good as it was the last game, it's equally as bad this game for Chris Barnes.
Yeah,
And he hasn't bowled bad. He hasn't thrown a bad shot.
that pendulum,
except the spare attempt.
pendulum of emotion can swing violently. Belmo in the 8th, looking for 8 in a row. Wide right. It was a good go.
That looked extremely fast.
Yeah, you'll have to be satisfied with just one 300 game at this year's World Series, at least so far.
Come on, finish it off.
The World Series of Bowling is set to take a short break, but will return in 3 weeks with none other than U.S. Open winner Pete Weber. PDW paired up with Jason Belmonte in the Mark Roth, Marshall Holman PBA Doubles Championship Sunday, March 25th here on ESPN.
Another 5. Are you kidding me?
And that's how you do it. Jason Belmonte, your winner the GEICO Shark Championship. And another World Series of Bowling title for Belmonte. The two-handed wonder from down under. Solid in the title match versus Barnes, and we'll hear from our champ when we return to Las Vegas.
Australian Jason Belmonte captures his second PBA title in 3 weeks here in Las Vegas. The Americans still empty-handed here at the World Series of Bowling.
Time now for the GEICO Championship recap. Match number 1. Mika Koivuniemi, the reigning player of the year, just did not have it going on for him. A 172 and an early exit to the sauna. Match number 2, Sean Rash. Makes a lot of shows, can't finish. It continued again today, a 182. He's done. Chris Barnes, perfection. Title game, different story. Jason Belmonte was perfect through 7. Dropped another one in the 9th, and he took a 243-213 30-pin win. He's standing by with Randall.
Jason, congratulations on another win on the Animal Patterns. Let's talk about the big adjustment you made in the title match, going to a stronger ball, moving deeper inside. How much of that adjustment do you think affected what Chris Barnes was doing?
Mate, to be honest, I have no idea. I was looking for the right look for me. In the first and second games, I went from a pin-down marble pearl to a pin-up marble pearl, and my speed had to be absolutely perfect. So I was talking to Chris Schlemmer and Del Ballard later on and said, look, I think I need to go to something stronger, throw it a little harder, and try and mix those puppies up down there, because after shooting 300, I knew that Chris was still going to bowl a decent game, and I wasn't prepared well, I didn't think I was going to be good enough to shoot high enough from doing what I was doing. So had a guess, and it paid off.
Nice adjustment. Congratulations.
Cheers, mate. I really appreciate it.
So Chris Barnes makes history in match 2, but didn't have enough in the championship match. March 25th, we're back, 2:30 Eastern here on ESPN. Little doubles action. The Mark Roth, Marshall Holman PBA Doubles Championship from Las Vegas. Chris Barnes, reason to celebrate. Ditto for Jason Belmonte. For Randy Peterson and our entire crew, I'm Rob Stone. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.